In this video, I'm going to walk you through the settings available within the Power Platform Admin Center. So I'm in Power Platform Admin Center, as you see from the screen over here. Let me show you where the setting lies. So on the left menu, if you navigate to settings, these are the various settings within Power Platform Admin Center. Now, let's go to the setting one by one. Okay, now the first one is a Copilot one. It says Copilot allow Canvas editors and admins to get AI powered answers to how to questions currently in preview. So what it does is it allows Canvas editor and admins to get AI powered answers to how to questions. It's currently in preview, and if you turn it on, the Copilot will be enabled. But how do you ensure that the Copilot is turned on? So first thing what you need to do is like you need to enable this. Okay, then the usage of this is if you go into say any of the environment. Okay, so I'm in one of the environment, and if I have logged into settings, um, and then I go into the product and features, then there is one more switch which says allow Canvas editors to get AI powered answers to how to questions and AI build GPT experiences currently in preview. So I need to turn this on. And if you want allow Canvas uh, Copilot along with model driven apps pilot, you can turn this on. Okay, now once you do that, then if you navigate to make.powerapps.com, and if you build a Canvas app, you start building a Canvas app, then you will be able to see those functionality. Now where do you see the functionalities? One is here, on the top. So if you click on Copilot, and then here you can say add text label. Okay, so if the Copilot understands this text, then it should add a text label within your Canvas app. So now, as you see over here, it has automatically added this text label. So that's mainly about the first setting, Copilot preview. Now, second one, environment routing. Now I'm going to make a special video about it, environment routing. But then the setting over here, what it says is like it says guide makers to specific environment based on defined rules. So what it does is like it directs new Power Apps makers into their own personal dev environments. Now imagine a situation whereby you have say 10 users within your organization, and say none of the users have ever logged into your environment. Okay. Now usually what happens, like if the user logs into the environment, make.powerapps.com, then they will be redirected to the default environment, and thereby user can create apps, flows, and all those Power Apps related artifacts. But if you don't want the user to use default environment, and if you want user to be redirected to their own provision dev environment, then this setting will be helpful for that. Okay, so I'm going to make a special separate video for this. Moving on, weekly digest. Now weekly digest, now again I need to make aware you about this. Like if you see this icon over here, this means this setting applies to manage environments only. So one, two, three, and four. So these four settings applies only to manage environment. So environment routing is only for managed environments. Weekly digest. Weekly digest means if your environment is managed one, then you can add additional recipients email address. Okay, to so that I have added recipients email address so that I get a weekly digest on how the resources are used within my tenant. Okay, now what kind of email it is, so I'll show you a sample. Now this is how the email will look like. Okay, now this is you can see the review that I just of managed environment for the week of October 2 2023, and then it will list down active apps, active flows, active app users, and then it will give you some suggestions to clean up these particular apps or flow, as these apps and flows are not being used quite frequently. Okay, so it's in order to maintain a good hygiene and security within your organization. Make sure that you look into that request, and it will also list down the most popular apps within your environment. So this is what this setting is about. Okay, so weekly digest, so if you want more people to receive these emails, put their name over here, because anyways administrator will anyways going to get this email. But if you want any additional users to be a part of it, then you can add the users over here. Moving on, now I'm going to club something over here. Now dev environment assignments, prod environment assignments, trial environment assignments. Now If you go into dev environment assignment, it says who can create and manage developer environment. Now, developer environments are a place to build and test Power Apps, or Power Automate, and Dataverse. They can be created by users who have the Power Apps dev plan. Okay. Now, if you tick here, everyone, then anyone can create and manage dev environment. Okay. So maybe most of the organization keep this to only specific admin. So you can also do the same if required. Same goes for production environment. Now, for production environment, we don't want people to create production environment. Okay, so what we need to do is like we need to just allow only specific admins to use those production environments. Okay, trial environment. Same goes with trial environment. If you want people to spin up the trial environment, you can allow everyone. But if you don't want, then you can only allow specific admins to provision the trial environment. Okay, tenant capacity summary view. Now, this one is about control who can view the tenant capacity summary view. Either you say tenant and environment admins, or you just say only tenant admins. Okay, now tenant and environment admins. Okay, means person who has into the role of tenant admin as well as environment admin, or it can be either or. And this is only tenant admin. Now, what is tenant capacity summary view? Now, if you go to admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com, under resources, you will see something called as capacity. In capacity, the first of the tab is summary. So here you will see the summary of the storage capacity used by source and top storage used by environment. So like what's the database size used, what is the file size used, and what's the log file used. Okay. Now think about it. Like if I log in as an end user, like say Adele. Okay. Now if I log in as Adele, okay. Now let me refresh this page. So capacity, if you see here, Adele can see the summary capacity as well, right? Over here. Now, what if I want to restrict Adele to not see this information? Okay. For that, I will make the setting say restrict only to tenant admin. So once I do that, and if I save this information, and let me come back here and refresh Adele's screen, then Adele should technically not see that summary. Now, if you see here, the summary tab is missing. So with that one setting, we can restrict users to not see the summary tab from a capacity perspective. Moving on. So we have covered this. Okay, add-on capacity assignments. Now here also the same thing. Control who can allocate add-on capacity to the environment. Now, what is add-on capacity? Like if you go to add capacity over here, you will see an add-on thing over here, right? So if if an administrator want to add an add-ons and assign them to the environment, they can do from here. Okay. Now, how they can add in add-ons is like they click on assign to environment, and then they can select the environment, and then they start putting those add-on capacity based on the request, right? Now, again, same thing, if you see the setting, it says any environment admin. Now, if I move to Adele, and if I see here, Adele can see the add-ons. But what if I don't want Adele to control that add-on? Because Adele can also go ahead, she can look into this environment, and then she can assign those capacity, right? Now, going back to the setting over here, if I make this only specific admins, I click on save, and now if I log in as Adele, okay, then if I refresh the screen, then technically the add-ons should disappear. Okay. Oh, let me see. And let me see. Yeah. So technically add-on remains, but if you click on assign to environment, it says go to get it, contact your system admin. So that means the permission is being affected, right? So that's what we do with add-on capacity assignments. Analytics, enable tenant level analytics. Now, what the setting does is if you want to see all the analytics related to Dataverse, Power Automate, Power Apps, then you need to enable this. This is important. What it does, it aggregates the data from environment across all regions in your tenant and copies into the default environment for tenant level reporting. So if you see over here on the left hand side and under analytics, you can see Dataverse, right? Now on Dataverse, you will see all the functionality related to activity, mode of access, entity usage. All these reports are being rendered, right? Now, how it is possible is like because you have enabled the tenant level analytics. Now, same goes with for Power Automate as well. Like you can see the runs, you can see the usages, you can see who created it, created the flows, if there are any errors within the flow. So all this information can be seen in Power Automatic Analytics, and same goes with Power Apps as well, right? So Power Apps also, you can see the usage, location, toast errors, service performance, connectors, etc. Okay. Now you can set the filters from here. Like if you want to see something what's happening within this environment and for the last 28 days, then this report will be, like rendered, and you can see the information within this analytics. So that's about analytics. Coming back to Logbox, customer Logbox. Now I'm going to cover this in a separate video. Remember, this is a managed environment feature. And then what it means is, like, if you enable this, then Microsoft can raise a ticket to access the data within your environment. Now, why it is required is sometimes when you raise a ticket with Microsoft, and Microsoft, if they are able to troubleshoot the issue without even having access to your data, that's fine. But then sometimes Microsoft may need to have access to your data as well, just to understand or troubleshoot the issues at hand. So at that moment of time, this setting needs to be enabled. So once you enable this, then what Microsoft does is, like, Microsoft basically raises a request to your admin, and then the admin can, what they can do, they can review this request, and they can approve or reject the request. Okay. Now here you will see that a logbox request has been requested. Then you can approve or deny, and then once it is approved, Microsoft team can have a look into your environment, and they can also look into the data as well. So this is helpful if you have raised some premium tickets with Microsoft to resolve uh, some high priority bugs. Okay. Then publish bots with AI feature. Now this one allow power agents to publish bots with AI features enabled. Allow bot authors to publish virtual agents when AI features are enabled, like conversational boosting with generative answers. Now, what does this mean? Is if you turn this on, then if you are in, say, Power Virtual Agent, so I'm in Power Virtual Agent, and if I click on New Chatbot, now see the first item is the bot name, second is bot language. Now see the third one. Here it says boost your conversation with generative answers. So it somewhat links your bot with the generative AI, and then it starts drafting those responses. Okay, so it says it lets your bot create responses in real time with generative answers and information from the website you choose. So you can configure the website whichever you want to choose, and then you can configure your bot accordingly, right? So this is that setting. So if you don't enable that, you may not be able to configure this bot, right? So that's about publish bots with AI feature. Then we move on to desktop flow actions in DLP. Again, this green icon indicates it's a managed environment settings only. So it says when enabled, desktop flow action group will be visible when creating or editing DLP policies. Okay. Now, if you see here, currently it is disabled. Now, what is desktop flow actions? So, if I go into DLP policies. So policies, okay, if I go to data policies, if I click on policy and if I type in some policy name, say, let's say call one, okay, and if in the connectors, if I start searching for flow, okay, flows, I'll say desktop flows, right? Then if you see here, configure connector is disabled. I can't configure this connector in the DLP setting, right? Now, let me go ahead and turn this on. Show desktop flow actions in DLP policies. And let me save this. It might take a while for the setting to affect. Let me go back and see whether this setting has been affected or not. If I go next, go to non-business, search connectors for flows, desktop flows, and then it's not it showing me. Let me again refresh the screen. So you may have to do it a couple of times. You may have to refresh the screen. Let me see if the setting is on or not. So desktop flow actions in DLP, it's turned on. So technically, yes, you should be able to see this. So if I go and say Paul 1, next, label connectors, search connectors for flows, desktop flows, and So ideally, what should happen is like this setting should allow you to see the desktop flows over here. Okay, let me again save this. This show desktop flow actions is in non-managed environments are not governed by DLP policies. So let me again refresh the screen. So this setting got affected after a while. So this was desktop flow actions in DLP. I have enabled it, and now if I search for flows in non-business connectors, then I can see that desktop flows connector actions can be configured, and then you can allow and disallow run a flow built with Power Automate for desktop. Okay, moving on to the next one, AI Builder Credit. Now, if you see the setting, it says control use of unassigned AI Builder Credit. Now, what happens when you select this on? It allows users to consume the unassigned credit. Now, remember, AI Builder Credit is a credit which can be assigned at a tenant level, okay, as well. So, when enabled, environments without assigned AI Builder credits can use tenant unassigned credit to perform AI builder action. So with say every environment, if you have some credits defined, and now if you want to have an optimum usage of that credit, you can allow users to consume the unassigned credit so that it doesn't expire. Okay, and when disabled, AI builder action can only be performed within an environment with assigned credit. So that's it, folks. This is all about the tenant settings within the Power Platform Admin Center. Thanks for watching.